So let me add to the complexity of the situation we find ourselves in. At the same time that we're solving for climate change, we're going to be building cities for 3 billion people. That's a doubling of the urban environment. If we don't get that right, I'm not sure all the climate solutions in the world will save mankind, because so much depends on how we shape our cities, not just environmental impacts, but our social well-being, our economic vitality, our sense of community and connectedness. Fundamentally, the way we shape cities is a manifestation of the kind of humanity we bring to bear. And so getting it right is, I think, the order of the day. And to a certain degree, getting it right can help us solve climate change, because in the end, it's our behavior that seems to be driving the problem. The problem isn't free-floating, and it isn't just ExxonMobil and oil companies. It's us, how we live.
Urban morphology is the study of the form of human settlements and the process of their formation and transformation. The study seeks to understand the spatial structure and character of a metropolitan area, city, town or village by examining the patterns of its component parts and the ownership or control and occupation. Typically, analysis of physical form focuses on street pattern, lot, or, in the UK, plot, pattern and building pattern, sometimes referred to collectively as urban grain. Analysis of specific settlements is usually undertaken using cartographic sources, and the process of development is deduced from comparison of historic maps. Special attention is given to how the physical form of a city changes over time, and to how different cities compare to each other. Another significant part of this subfield deals with the study of the social forms which are expressed in the physical layout of a city, and, conversely, how physical form produces or reproduces various social forms. Urban morphology is considered as the study of urban tissue, or fabric, as a means of discerning the environmental level normally associated with urban design. Tissue comprises coherent neighborhood morphology, open spaces, building and functions, human activity. Neighborhood exhibit recognizable patterns in the ordering of buildings, spaces and functions, themes, within which variation reinforced an organizing set of principles. This approach challenges the common perception of unplanned environments as chaotic or vaguely organic through understanding the structures and processes embedded in urbanization. Complexity science has provided further explanations showing how urban structures emerge from the uncoordinated action of multiple individuals in highly regular ways. Amongst other things, this is associated with permanent energy and material flows to maintain these structures.
This study will highlight an urban community under a timeline frame. The past will be representing the irregular layout. The present will represent by the base case, and then reaching to the future recommended community layout, after examining the different climatic parameters. The aim of this research is to regenerate a configuration for the urban community layout, as a solution to achieve thermal comfort. First, we will start with the linear city. The linear city was an urban plan for an elongated urban formation. The city would consist of a series of functionality, specialized parallel sectors. Generally, the city would run parallel to a river. The linear city was a proposal made by Arturo Soria at the end of the 19th century to turn Madrid into a more human city, a city which was closer to nature. Next will be the grid layout, this system being used in ancient Greece and Rome, as well as imperial cities in Vietnam, Kyoto in Japan, as well as Beijing in China. The grid plan is among the simplest design and represents a planned organized city. The closest one confined to an absolutely perfect grid city is Phoenix, Arizona. Moving to the organic or irregular cities. Streets in irregular cities seem to have no order or organization. They start and end, curve and bend at random. Organic cities arise for different reasons. Much of the cities around the world are created via the fast growth. Of the top 50 cities in Europe, 35 are organic, and of the top 50 cities in Asia, 30 are also organic in nature. The last layout of cities is the radial, which is strictly geometric, with the street radiating out from important building, monument, or palaces. A very good example of a radial city is Washington, D.C., New Delhi in India, and also some points of Paris. In this research, we focus on outdoor comfort simulations to achieve thermal comfort through different urban morphology. Cities experience higher temperature compared to their surrounding areas. This is a serious challenge as it generates discomfort for the inhabitants, higher energy consumption, and intensifies impact of climate change in cities. For the study, we simulate 5 different community layouts. Using NVMet as a simulation tool for 2D model neighborhood, we assess the impact of different urban morphologies on 4 microclimate parameters: air temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, and PMV. Thus, we can compare several designs based on thermal comfort. From our simulation, we can compare and analyze the variation in air temperature prevailing in this community. The example that has been taken here is an urban residential community. Consider this neighborhood as a base case during 3 periods of time: at 11 a.m., 12 p.m., and 1 p.m. In air temperature, our result shows that the radial layout obtained the best result to achieve urban thermal comfort comparing. Now moving to the second parameter, which is the relative humidity, along the 5 different community layouts at the same date and time. In relative humidity, our result shows that the radial layout obtained the best results to achieve urban thermal comfort comparing to other urban layouts. Wind speed is the next parameter that will be examined at the 5 different community layouts, starting from the base case, the linear, grid, radial, and the irregular layout. In wind speed, our result shows that the linear layout obtained the best results to achieve urban thermal comfort, comparing to other urban layouts. The last parameter will be the PMV, predicted mean vote, to be studied for the different urban community layout. The recommended acceptable PMV range for thermal comfort from ASHRAE 55 is between -0.5 and +0.5. PMV always used for evaluation of outdoor thermal environments. The PMV schedule shows that the radial layout obtained the best results to achieve urban thermal comfort, comparing to other urban layouts. After examining all the urban layouts and morphology in corresponding to each climatic parameter, this schedule shows that the radial layout has obtained the thermal comfort in both air temperature and relative humidity, and thus having the best PMV results. As a summary, I think one of the reasons I have always liked cities is the way they plan, along with the street patterns. Every street has a different feel walking down while exploring new neighborhoods. Therefore, in order to achieve thermal comfort across communities, an integrated approach is required, which enable designers to infiltrate the planning system and therefore become an inherent feature of development and lifestyle choices across the city. In this video, we go through different types of city plans, and now each one of you can vote on what kind of city you think are the best.